The chapel bells tolled like funeral dirges as I pounded my fists against the locked kitchen door, the metallic clang echoing my unraveling world. My tuxedo, crisp and starched just hours ago, now clung to me in sweat-soaked ruin. Through the thin wood, I heard her laughter, sharp, liberated, slicing deeper than any blade. He's probably still fumbling with his tie. The fool, she giggled to him, her lover's low chuckle joining in like a conspirator's whisper. The wedding guests' murmurs swelled outside, turning to gasps as she, in her veil and gown, linked arms with him and fled down the aisle toward a waiting car. Betrayed on the altar of our vows, I screamed her name until my voice cracked, but the engine roared to life, drowning me out. She had orchestrated it all, the locked door, the decoy distractions, the final humiliation. As the tires screeched away with my future, I slumped against the cabinets, tasting blood from bitten lips. This wasn't the end. It was my beginning. In the weeks that followed, the world blurred into a haze of gray suits and sympathetic stares, but inside, a furnace roared. I, Alexander Hale, once a rising architect with blueprints of dream homes, now sketched only ruins, mental maps of her destruction. Elena had been my everything. The curve of her smile that lit boardrooms, the way her fingers traced my scars from a childhood accident, promising forever. Our wedding was to be the capstone, a lavish affair in the hills overlooking the city, attended by colleagues, family, and fools like me who believed in love's architecture. But she had built her escape on my foundation, locking me away like discarded scaffolding while she eloped with Marcus, her firm's slick partner, the man whose late-night meetings I'd ignored for her sake. The first night home, our home, now a mausoleum of half-packed boxes, I shattered the mirror in our bedroom. Shards glittered like confetti from a party I wasn't invited to. My reflection stared back, fractured and furious, and in that moment, the burden settled. Revenge wasn't a choice, it was oxygen. I couldn't breathe without it. Days bled into nights at dive bars, where whiskey burned less than the memory of her laughter. My best friend, Theo, tried pulling me from the abyss. Alex, she's gone. Let the cops handle the fraud. She drained your accounts, remember? He meant well, his broad shoulders slumped with worry, but his words were chains. I shoved him away, literally, during one pleading visit, my fist grazing his jaw. You think justice is a report filed in triplicate? She humiliated me, Theo. She'll pay. He left with a bruised silence, our friendship cracking like old plaster, but I didn't care. The pursuit had me now, a parasite feasting on my marrow. Months ground on, and the obsession reshaped me. I quit my job, the firm's pitying emails ignored, and dove into shadows. Hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop named Ruiz who smelled of stale cigars and regret. His reports painted Elena's paradise, a honeymoon in Tuscany, funded by my savings, followed by a cozy villa in the countryside. Marcus, that silver-tongued serpent, had proposed within weeks, their wedding a vulgar echo of mine. White lace, champagne toasts, but with her at the center, unchained. I pored over photos, her radiant in stolen bliss, and the rage twisted deeper, a thorn burrowing into my chest. Nights, I'd pace the empty apartment, whispering plans to the walls, expose their embezzlement from the firm, leak the affair to his powerful family, sabotage their new life brick by illicit brick. But in quiet hours, doubt clawed. A scene in the dead of night, staring at a bottle of pills I'd bought, but never swallowed. Destruction tempted, and it all, let her win by default. Justice, I told myself, pounding the table until my knuckles split, justice would anchor me. Yet the line blurred. Was I building a reckoning or my own grave? The toll rippled outward, a venom seeping into every corner. My sister, Lila, visited unannounced one rainy afternoon, her eyes red from crying over my descent. She found me amid printouts and red-marked maps, the air thick with takeout rot. Alex, you're killing yourself. Mom's heart can't take these calls. He's not eating, he's not sleeping. I snapped, crumpling a photo of Elena's smug face. She killed me first, Lila. Locked away while the world watched me unravel. We argued until she stormed out, vowing distance, her final words a plea. Revenge won't bring her back. It'll just bury you alive. Alone again, I laughed bitterly, but her absence hollowed me further. Friends faded, invites declined, calls unanswered, leaving me a ghost in my own life, sustained only by the pulse of retribution. Elena's betrayal had been a single stab. My vengeance was a slow evisceration, carving out the man I was to forge something sharper, deadlier. By the 6-month mark, the plan coalesced. Infiltrate their world, not as a scorned groom, but a phantom investor. I funneled what remained of my inheritance into shell companies, posing as a venture capitalist eyeing their vineyard startup, a venture born from my ignored dreams of rural escape. Emails flew, charm offensive launched, and soon, an invitation. A tasting event at their villa, a chance to sip their success from poisoned chalices. The drive there was torment, rain lashing the windshield like accusations. Doubts surged again in the rear view. Visions of Elena's terror, Marcus's pleas, the blood on my hands. Destruction whispered sweet nothings. One bullet, one blaze, and it clean. But justice roared louder, a beast unchained. I gripped the wheel until my fingers ached, whispering her name like a curse. The gates loomed, wrought iron mocking my entry. I was here not to heal, but to harvest. The villa sprawled like a taunt under the Tuscan sun, vines heavy with grapes that mocked my barren soul. A year had etched lines into my face, hollowed my cheeks, but the fire in my eyes burned undimmed. Elena moved among guests like a queen, her laughter a dagger I collected with every glance. Marcus flanked her, his arm possessive, oblivious to the wolf in wool. I'd arrived as Victor Lang, the fabricated tycoon, my accent polished, my smile a veneer over venom. Toasts rang out, to new beginnings, to love's triumph. And I raised my glass, the wine tasting of bile. That night, as stars pierced the sky, I cornered her in the garden, the air thick with jasmine and deceit. Elena, I murmured, dropping the mask. Her eyes widened, champagne flutes slipping from numb fingers. Alex? God, no how. Panic suited her, cracking the porcelain facade. The confrontation wasn't fireworks. It was a slow fuse, lit months ago. I'd uncovered it all. Their firm's cooked books, siphoned funds that left partners ruined, including my old mentor who'd toasted our engagement. Marcus's family, old money aristocrats, disowned him upon my anonymous leaks, scandalous photos, forged ledgers, whispers of infidelity that painted him the villain. But Elena? She was the architect, the one who'd seduced him for leverage, then me for stability, discarding both when ambition called. In the garden's shadows, I laid it bare. You locked me away like trash, ran with my money, my dreams. But I own you now. She begged, tears smearing mascara, promises tumbling like cheap coins. It was a mistake, Alex, Marcus forced me. Please, we're happy now. Lies, all lies, but they fueled me. I revealed the final blow. I'd bought their vineyard through proxies, the tasting a trap. Eviction papers waited in my briefcase, their paradise foreclosed at dawn. She lunged, nails raking my arm, a feral cry escaping. You monster! This is obsession, not justice. I grabbed her wrists, the old love twisted into loathing. In that grip, the war raged within. Justice demanded her ruin, total and unrelenting. Expose the child she hid, the one conceived in betrayal's bed, to child services with fabricated neglect claims. Torch the villa with them inside, a pyre for my stolen vows. Destruction leered, promising ecstasy in their screams. For a heartbeat, I saw us as we were, lazy Sundays, her head on my chest, and faltered. But the memory of the kitchen door, the guests' pitying faces, slammed shut the weakness. Monster, I hissed, shoving her back. You forged me. Marcus burst from the house then, drawn by her wail, his face a mask of confusion turning to fury. Who the hell are you? Fists flew, his polished knuckles against my calloused rage, and I reveled in the crack of bone, the copper tang of blood. Guests scattered like roaches, sirens wailed in the distance, but I pinned him, knee to throat. Your wife's first husband, the one you cuckolded on our wedding day. The fight spilled into chaos, Elena dialing frantically, Marcus gasping curses, me laughing through split lips as Ruiz's men, hired muscle from my shadows, dragged them apart. I'd planned this apex, but the recoil hit like a sledgehammer. Lila's voice echoed in my skull, unbidden. It'll bury you. Theo's bruised jaw haunted the periphery. My family, fractured by my silence, now headlines fodder. Jilted groom's rampage. As police cuffed us all, Elena's eyes met mine, not with fear, but hollow victory. She'd taken my light. I'd extinguished my own. In the squad car, the burden lifted, replaced by a yawning void. Vengeance had carved its throne, but the crown was thorns, pricking deeper than her betrayal. Months later, trials ground on. Fraud charges stuck, their empire crumbled to dust. Elena, stripped of glamour, faced prison bars. Marcus, broken and bankrupt, vanished into obscurity. I walked free on technicalities, Ruiz's web too tangled for prosecutors. But freedom tasted ash. The apartment echoed emptier, friends ghosts, my reflection a stranger's, eyes dead, soul a husk. Yet in the quiet, I traced the scars, her nails on my arm, my knuckles on his face. No regret, only the cold satisfaction of symmetry. The pursuit had consumed me, reshaped the world in my image of ruin, and in that desolation, I found a perverse peace. She had locked me away. I had thrown away the key to mercy. And for that, the silence sang. In the end, revenge is a mirror that reflects not the enemy's defeat, but the avenger's own shattered form. A victory etched in isolation, where triumph's echo fades into eternal, unforgiving night. Moral of the story. Revenge devours the betrayed and the betrayer alike, forging chains heavier than those of forgiveness ever were.